You have 95 results of Jay-Z appearing or being mentioned in the Epstein files. Why is Jay-Z name in the Jeffrey Epstein files next to Harvey Weinstein? Harvey Weinstein was convicted and sentenced to be proven a serial predator. So when the same names keep appearing in the same elite rooms, people started asking questions. Who's guilty and who has had access to these particular rooms? But let's be honest, just because your name is in the Epstein files don't mean you guilty. But being in the same room, in the same proximity of predators, that changes how the public read that particular room. This video about optics, and we notice in the patterns, it ain't about accusing. It ain't about accusations. As we see it now, the Epstein files are anonymous tips that the FBI has taken in. Some are unverified statements, names being recorded. It's not really just proving a case right now, but once your name has appeared in these Epstein files, people gonna start asking why. So the names that raising eyebrows right now is when one anonymous report mentions Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein together back in the 1990s. So you can go to the government website, Justice.gov, so you can search for any name that you may have seen connected to Harvey Weinstein. And you want to search by their first name. So we're going to search Jay-Z, Sean Carter. And I already got it picked up here. And it's going to have this particular document. But you can also search his artist name, Jay-Z, and you have 95 results of Jay-Z appearing or being mentioned in the Epstein files. This happened around 1994 that this alleged victim came forth. 1994, revealed herself to blank as a past victim of abuse by Epstein. Blank described the abuse occurring during parties. Blank blank. Further identified as a friend of. You see how this can get. It can get wishy-washy when it being redacted so much. And approximately 1996, resided with blank in blank, an unknown man abducted from her home from whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into her. For JJ, blank believed she was in Epstein mansion in Florida. Now this is interesting because we're going through how Harvey Weinstein have been accused in the 1990s, which could be by this same woman who is now serving a 23-year sentence for the accusations. This is an anonymous accusation, which Jay-Z was being mentioned to be there when Harvey Weinstein did this particular thing. And another name is Pusha T, who's also signed to Jay-Z and have a long relationship. That reminds me when Kanye said, "Why did y'all go to that island?" But he never put a name on it.
I voted for Trump, not Biden. Know some niggas that went to that island. Why the fuck would you go to that island?
She was estimated abducted on 7 occasions, awakened each time in an opulent indoor setting. Suffered from sex abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated. Recalled Leon Black and William Barr. They didn't. Current United States Attorney General being present during some of the occasions of abuse in approximately 2006. Last recalled being abused by Epstein. On each occasion, blank believes she was drugged, clouding her memory, attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers, who she described as persons who established friendships with the victim. Among her handlers, blank identified the artist Pusha T. You see all the names that are being thrown out there are so out of different cultures. You got hip hop, you have politics, you have Hollywood, and she's recanting these particular faces and names on 7 different occasions. Begs the question, why the fuck is Jay-Z and Pusha T being named in this particular excerpt or intake of witness testimonies or anonymous victims coming out back in 2007, 1996, and it's coming out in 2026. Damn near 30 years ago when he's talking about Jay-Z. And this is around the time Jay-Z was, I think, getting with Beyoncé. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Beyonce was around 18, 19, we talking about patterns. Jay-Z and Pusha T is in the Epstein files being at that island. Something Kanye West has already alluded to, but he ain't put no name on it. But think about this. Women have been exposing Harvey Weinstein with these anonymous tips for decades, bro.
Harvey Weinstein has now been convicted a second time of rape, this time in Los Angeles. And while it may mean Weinstein could spend the rest of his life behind bars,
he said many times that this is between us. Remember, I will do a lot of things for you, but this is between us. I'm a very powerful man. And if you ever will be a powerful actress, you want it to stay like this.
He was 50 years old and the king of Hollywood at the time. Kaya Sikola was just 16, her modeling career taking off, having just landed in the bright lights of New York City alone when she was introduced to Harvey Weinstein.
For decades, women have been coming out complaining about Harvey Weinstein, and Hollywood pushed the shit off as just accusations. But the pattern is, he was arrested in 2018, convicted in 2020, and sentenced to 23 years in prison off of these accusations that we found out to be true. This ain't no rumor. This is a legal record. So when somebody being accused of being this serial predator, people asking questions. So who knew about it? Who was in the rooms or at this party or at this island with this particular predator, Harvey Weinstein? And it's connecting it back to Jay-Z. I'm not saying Jay-Z is Harvey Weinstein, but how is your name getting brought up in the same light as a monster like Harvey Weinstein? And then people notice the patterns on how Jay-Z liked to date younger women.
I know people in the industry, been around for a long time, was there when he first started dating Beyoncé at 17, 18, he was 30 something. You didn't know his age. When I look back and see how old Jay-Z was, I think Jay-Z was born in like 69 or 67, something like that, 67 right there, 69. I think he was born in 69. Beyonce, they said she was born in 81. You understand? But back then, in 81, when we was in the club together, 98, 99, she wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but she was in the club. It was Club Eugene's. And Jay was dating her.
Jay-Z began dating Beyonce when she was around the age of 18 or 19. Jay-Z was 30 years old. Now, 18 is legal, but he publicly dated Beyonce when she was 18. The pattern might be, or the assumption might be, Jay-Z like younger women. But how young do he like them? That would start to be the question, especially when you named in the Jeffrey Epstein files next to Harvey Weinstein, who was known to take advantage of women and younger women, and was convicted of this. Just in 2025, Jay-Z was accused of this particular assault. The case was dropped, but you had a woman back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, accusing him of the same shit. I mean, rumors are rumors until they become true. They say birds of a feather flock together. Now, I could be wrong, but I haven't seen Jay-Z come out and condemn or criticize the actions of Harvey Weinstein. Maybe he a bird flocking together. Or maybe this was a man that had nothing to do with all these assumptions and allegations that connected him to Harvey Weinstein. But shit, y'all let me know what y'all think.